When I was 13 years old, I had a severe migraine problem, and I was diagnosed with, I was presented with prescription Percocets.
I had great loving parents, I had a great family.
I started getting in trouble when I was like 13.
The first time that I ever used like the world silence, like everything in my life just became okay.
I started drinking at like 14, 15.
I chose my first boyfriend because he knew where to get drugs.
Became a machine to use.
I went to prison pregnant.
You never even believe that that's your future.
I'm done, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore.
There's nothing in the world that is more disheartening than a failed suicide attempt.
How did my life get to this point?
It was play here, play there, and then it very quickly moved into an everyday thing. You know, I thought it was a secret that I had a problem. It wasn't.
As soon as I smoked weed, or because it starts off innocent, you know, it's never just like straight to like heroin shooting, you know, and you never even believe that that's your future. But like as soon as I would smoke weed or drink, like I just felt like the world silenced.
I remember my father, he got surgery, and he had all these pain meds, and it was just time. It was the perfect correspondence of time for me at my age to just take off with the pain meds.
My background with drug addiction got me to places like I never thought I would be. You know, I used to sit in meetings and people would say that this is a life and death situation, and like I was actually so immature and naive to sit in the back of the room laughing, thinking like that person's crazy, you know, because I couldn't relate.
From living in abandoned miniums, and that's basically abandoned houses that have no running water, holes in the roofs, no doors, no nothing, using and thinking that this was the life I was supposed to be living. It was rough. I've been raped a handful of times. I've been held at gunpoint. I've been robbed with knives, and you know, there's been a lot of scary incidences in my addiction, but none of those things were enough to scare me to run because I needed to use.
During my active addiction, I was living in Camden. I was living on benches. I was living, you know, in crack houses. Like, it just took me to places I never thought I'd be.
It's habitual. It becomes part of your everyday, and that's how your brain registers it. You are so used to doing this, so used to living the life, and as humans, we don't like change. We don't. So it's like reprogramming yourself.
One of my last police chases, I stabbed a cop with a needle, and I didn't know if I had any diseases or not. And I didn't care, frankly, because like towards that point, like I just wanted to die. Like I did not know what recovery was. I was ignorant. I was naive, you know. I didn't want to give myself a chance because I always thought my whole life I was a coward. I always thought my whole life that I was lazy, I was unwilling, I didn't want to listen, and so I was on my way to the hospital to see if I had any diseases, because if I had any diseases, I was going to go to prison for attempted manslaughter on a police officer. And as I'm laying there thinking like, how did my life get to this point, you know? And like, that's only one example of like the places that it brought me. You know, there's many more times where I was just like, it's not even like the repercussions that come from the addiction, it's how I felt inside. Like my spirit was so dead.
So finally I decided that I had spent enough nights where I was wishing that I didn't wake up, that I would just really try this time. You know, and I loaded up 12 bags of heroin into a needle and I shot it all up. You know, within like 20 minutes, I wrote a note to my dad and said, I'm sorry. I spent all my money. And I passed out, and I woke up like 12 hours later, and there's nothing in the world that is more disheartening than a failed suicide attempt. You know? When you can't even do that shit right, you know you failed at life, and like you know that like every bit of my spirit and my person had just given up.
For me, like I used to shoot up puddle water in Camden because I didn't have 50 fucking cents to rub together to get a bottle of water to shoot up in the end. You know, I remember laying in the back of alleys in Camden, and my arms were bleeding from shooting up, and I had no veins left. And I'd be sitting back there, and there would literally be bugs flies around me because I was like fucking dying. Like I was rotting. Like, I was literally killing myself, and like I was okay with it.
I was resigned to being this machine of, I get up in the morning, I go get high, I go to work, I come home, I get high, I get up in the morning, I go get high, and just repeat that cycle every day and do whatever the hell I gotta do to keep that going.
Brian, Jen, and Ashley sought recovery through various programs like Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Drug Court, and they finally got to view the world through sober eyes.
Throughout my addiction, I always had like, you know, when I would get arrested, it was like, oh my God, suicide is it, you know? Because like I never understood that this program that is so freely available to me, like offered so much freedom, you know? I never wanted to give myself a chance just because I never believed that I could.
And I was given the option to either go to prison or take drug court. Best decision I've ever made in my life. I opted to take drug court because I really wanted to do something different. And it was a decision I made. It wasn't something like, let me just take it and I'll get out of jail quicker. No. I've done that. I've done all those options. I talked it over with my family, and it was the best decision. Like, what was it going to hurt me to try and get some help?
There's nothing in the world that can repay, you know, the program that gave me my life back. There's nothing that can truly like explain what it feels like to sit up there after just 1 year of you know, recovery, and like, you know, I spent the last 12 years before that fighting it. I spent the last 12 years before that destroying my life, and in 1 short year I felt better about myself than I had ever had in the 25 years prior.
Although they will have to battle this disease for the rest of their lives, Narcotics Anonymous has provided all three of them with the support to take it one day at a time.